Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jessica M. Harris, and you are tuned in to Ignite Your Glow. So, today's podcast episode is going to be featuring the concept of, are you keeping yourself accountable in this hour? Yes, let's go ahead and real quickly take a look at what the word accountable means. According to Merriam's dictionary, accountability is the quality or state of being accountable, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility. So, now that we have a better idea of what the meaning is, let's take this a bit further. How exactly are you taking responsibility and owning your actions when it comes to holding yourself accountable with your goals? Yes, y'all heard me, goals. Goals are everything when it comes to being an entrepreneur. Your goals are everything when it comes to family, right? Your goals are everything when it comes to your job, right? There's different areas of our lives where we have to set goals. Whether the goal is to buy a home, to buy a car, right? Whether the goal is to be like, okay, I want my kids to learn, a new language in the next few days, or I want my kids to potty train, right? Those are goals that we're setting either for ourselves or those of whom we love. But in some way, shape, or form, they exist. The same thing at your job. Your job, like I've worked in sales, so we had sales goals, right? I worked in a call center, so we had inbound calls goals where we had to make sure that we was taking in a certain amount of calls throughout the day in order to keep our stats together for different sections that they monitored. But it's that concept. There was goals, there was accountability. They had to be like, hey, Jess, you're responsible for the calls that you're receiving today. Make sure your phone is turned on to receive X amount of number to do whatever sales goal I needed, right? I needed a certain amount in to make my numbers make sense. The same thing applies with you and your business. See, we're easily able to make goals when it comes to what we will do with our kids, to what we do with our relationships, friendships, business, whatever the case may be. Well, business is one of those areas we're going to talk today about. But right, we keep goals in all these other areas. But are you willing to hold yourself accountable with your goals? Or are you someone who makes a goal, right, for your business, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh, it didn't quite work out the way I wanted to, and then you kind of let it fall by the wayside? Or are you someone who says, okay, my goals were to make X, but I didn't quite do it? What are you doing at that point? Are you taking the action of owning responsibility as to why you didn't hit that number? Are you gonna go in and do an assessment to figure out what went wrong, what went well, what did you miss, right? Are you going to actually take on that responsibility to figure out what you can do differently? Or are you gonna let it flop and be like, yeah, it happens. I'll figure it out later, right? And then never actually get to it? What are you doing? What does your accountability look like? Does your accountability look like you reviewing your goals throughout the week? Does your accountability look like you having a day where you're like, listen, for 12 to 2, right? The block of 2 hours, I am going to be in my office. I say like quote unquote offices because listen, some of the offices may be your kitchen table, right? Some of your offices may be your car. Some of your offices may legitimately be an actual office, right? Whatever the case may be for you. Listen, I've had makeshift offices and more, God knows, right? But I still have an office space that I designate specifically for work. Find that space. And what are you doing there? Are you taking the time to be like, listen, I'm taking this 2-hour block and I'm going to look at my finances and figure out, okay, what did I do well for sales? What did I not do well? What do I need to pick up on? Are you taking time to sit down and be like, okay, this is the product that I said I wanted to have completed, but for whatever reason, it's not there yet? How are you holding yourself accountable? Are you making timetables, right? Are you making schedules? Are you giving yourself deadline for some things? It's different when you work for somebody, because when you work for a manager or a boss, right, they have expectations of you. They're telling you the timetable. Hey, Susie, Sally, Jim, John, Jess, Mark, right, whatever. you need to complete X, Y, and Z by 12 p.m. Friday. They're telling you this information. So you already know. The responsibility you have is to get it done and then present it. And then, you go from there. But when you're a business owner, you don't necessarily have, boss Mike or boss James or boss, Sally or whomever, Sarah, right? Cynthia, whomever, right? There's no boss, hypothetically speaking, that's over you telling you, hey, you need to make a timetable for these things to get done. You are the boss now. You are the one who's in charge now. So you have to play almost like two sides. You're the one who looks and says, okay, these are the things that must get done. But then you're also the person who actually has to get it done. So are you keeping yourself accountable? Are you doing weekly check-ins with yourself and making sure that you're getting what you need to have done and completed? And done and completed to the best of your ability? Or are you giving yourself excuse after excuse after excuse because life gets hard, things get rough, time escapes you, you end up in reels land, like all these things happen. And I'm not saying this to say like life legitimately doesn't happen, because I know it does. Like, I know it does. I know what it's like to be a busy mom. I know what it's like to sit there and have life hammering down at you. I know what it's like to sit there and be always on the move because you're constantly traveling. You're constantly out and about. I know what it's like to not have the perfect setup at home, but still having to make do with the situation that you have. I understand. And I'm not saying that because I don't have sympathy for you, but I'm saying that to say that I empathize with your situation. But at the same time, you have to hold yourself accountable. You don't want to get to a point where you let things fall by the wayside so much and so often that eventually it becomes a pile of responsibilities that never get done. Because then you really will end up with nothing. You'll end up with 20, 30, 40, 50 projects that are halfway done, halfway completed, not touched upon because you didn't give it the due diligence that you needed to. Because you didn't sit there and take the time to review things. Because you didn't sit there and take the time to build out a timetable, to build out a time schedule. Now, this is not stating that if you have a project, right, that you started working on and God told you to put it on pause. That is entirely different. Because I've had projects like that where I started something and God's like, cool, put that on pause because I need you to shift. I need you to pivot. I need you to go and do this right now. And I'm like, but I still have that. And it's like, I know that, but this needs to take place first. That is entirely different because that's being led by the Spirit and knowing when, okay, if something is where it needs to be, putting it down and then shifting because this needs to be built up, right? Why? Because there's some purpose there that's tied to it. That's a different conversation, but I want to mention that part because I don't want you, if that is you, to feel like, oh, but but God said. That's different. This is specifically for the person who has that book, who has that project, who has that business, who has that shirt, right? You have that course or whatever the case may be, and it's halfway done, and God has already been telling you to complete it. He's already been telling you to push it out there. He's already been telling you to market it. He's already been telling you to get it out to the people because they need it. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the one who has the blueprint already in their notebooks, and all they have to actually do right now is actually put some muscle to it and get it to work. I'm talking to the one who knows they have the plan in their brain, but they have yet to actually write down the vision on paper. I'm talking to the one who knows they have a business that they've been treating like a hobby because they want to play and la and rails land all day long instead of actually taking an hour a day to work wholeheartedly in their business. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the one who knows that they need to put more effort in their business right now. I'm talking to the one who knows that they haven't looked at their business journal, their business book, their business plan in the last 6 months because they've just been looking at the notebook by the bedside and like, I'll get to it later. I'm talking to that one. I'm talking to the one who God has been telling them month by month, like, yo, I need you to get up and I need you to put the work into this project. I need you to get up and I need you to start writing this out. I need you to get up and I need you to start making those phone calls. I need you to get up and I need you to actually start watering the seeds of the very things that I've already placed inside of you, so they can then be cultivated, to then germinate, to then grow, to produce the fruit that is needed for the harvest season that God wants to give you. I'm talking to that one. The one who knows there's a book inside of them, but they're too afraid to actually sit down and write it because they're afraid what others may say. I'm talking to the one who has ideas and ideas and ideas that keep floating, but for whatever reason, they have all these negative thoughts in their ears blocking them from actually getting an opportunity to write at least something down. I'm talking to the one who has come up with excuse after excuse after excuse, that they're too busy, that they don't have enough time, that they're working too much, that they have the kids to manage, that they have a household to manage, and they don't have an opportunity to just sit down for an hour to actually plan out the very thing that God has given them. I'm talking to that one. I'm talking to the one who needs the reassurance right now that they can actually get it done. I'm talking to that one. Real quickly, time out. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. All right, so as you already know, my name is Jessica M. Harris here, and I am the founder of Ignite Your Glow, coaching and consulting services. We are here for women in Christ who are ready to come out of the shadows of hiding and walk in their boldness that God has given unto them. If you are a woman who is aspiring to be in business, or you are a woman who feels as though there is a story inside of you that needs to be shared with the world, we would love to be able to work with you in our one-on-one coaching sessions. So click the link in the description box below and sign up for a consultation today, or simply just book your one-on-one. Thank you for tuning in to our commercial. All right, so back to business, right? Accountability is everything. Sometimes having an accountability partner makes a huge difference. Why? Because you have someone that you actually have to tell them verbally, right? Possibly, or by text or email, whatever, right? That, yeah, I actually didn't do it. It's different if I just look in my mirror and it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't get to that today. That's okay. I'll do that tomorrow, right? Yeah, it's easy when your accountability partner is just yourself. And no, I am not knocking down anybody who has themselves as the accountability partner. Nope. But this is for the person who knows that they need someone else with them. This is for the person who knows that they need a person who can push them, who can help them get a kickstart into motion, into action to get what it is that is needed. This is for the person who needs that friend to be like, yo, so did you do that yesterday? Like, we had that conversation, right? Did you take that hour like we agreed upon? Did you make that phone call to so-and-so to check out what it was going to take you to get that loan? Did you check out what it was with that company to be able to collab with them? Did you follow up on that email that so-and-so gave you regarding that contract? See, sometimes we just need somebody there in our ear to remind us of the vision that God gave us. Sometimes we need to be able to have someone who can remind us like, yo, I got to talk to her today. All right, let me get some work done right quick, because I don't want to hear her talk about why I didn't do this. Let me just get it. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that. For real. Sometimes you need that. I have literally had accountability calls with friends, with business partners, and it is amazing to see the difference of how we respond to each other on the designated accountability calls versus how we respond to each other with regular friend phone conversation, right? Like when we're just talking, it's regular, it's flow, it's ease, no issues. But when we know we're on an accountability call, oh, it's different. It's like business hats on. Kind of in my head, I can see like the construction hat, right? You see like a construction hat on, and you got your pen out, and you're ready, and you're like, yep, okay, so what did we do on level 1 today? Okay, we worked on this. What did we do on level 2 today? And we worked on that, and then we do X, and then Y, and then Z, and we started from the foundation, and we went our way up. Why? Because that's how it is when you have somebody who is working with you in accountability. They want to see you win as much as you want to see yourself win, as much as you want to see them win too. Your accountability partner wants to be able to help you become more responsible for your actions so you can get the work done. Your goals are important. They shouldn't fall by the wayside because you lack responsibility. Your goals are important. They shouldn't fall by the wayside because life got too busy. Your goals are important. They shouldn't have to suffer, better yet, the plans that God placed inside of you shouldn't have to suffer because you don't have a firm foundation or structure within a routine or having goals set or whatever the case may be in order to thrive the way that is needed for things to work out for you. That vision shouldn't have to suffer. And because God is not a man that shall lie, it won't. God's going to get a way for the pieces to come. But I'm trying to throw you a lifeline here. Get some accountability in your life. I'm trying to throw you a lifeline. Book a one-on-one coaching session. I'm trying to throw you a lifeline. Get in on my email list where we have an accountability question for the week, where you journal about whatever the case may be, whether it's identifying distractions, whether it's identifying weak areas in your business, whatever the case may be, right? There's always an accountability prompt that is given to you weekly because it's getting you in your mind of understanding what are some things that I need to be uncovered in this hour. So I feel like that's a lot of information and a little bit of time. But I really hope that this helps you. I hope that this encourages you. And I hope that this really shifts your perspective on how you see what you are doing and the role and the position that you have in it. And that you take up the responsibility that is needed. So if you are looking for a coach, whether that's in your personal life, whether that's in business, or you are someone who simply just needs to have a soundboard, or you're looking for an accountability partner because you just need someone that you can check in with weekly to make sure that you're staying on task. Whichever it is for you, we encourage you to check out our site, www.igniteurglow.com, and set up a consultation today. Get a customized plan or package that works out for your needs. So I'm Jessica M. Harris, and I'll catch you again next week.